Elon Musk, one of the world's wealthiest, and Julius Malema, leader of South Africa's third largest political party called the EFF, are going at each other on social media platform X. Despite distancing himself from South Africa, his country of birth, Musk says EFF is pushing white genocide in South Africa. Our reporter, Kalden Ongmu, has filed this report.
Alliance, shoot to kill,
This is the controversial slogan that got many people, in particular white people, upset and venting their anger on social media platforms against economic freedom fighters. One prominent figure was Elon Musk, and this is his tweet. He tweeted, "They are openly pushing for genocide of white people in South Africa. Cyril Ramaphosa, why do you say nothing?" Soon after Musk tweeted, Malema replied with this, "O bolela masipa," which translates directly into, "You are talking shit." These conversations led to many more joining in. The chant, "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," was popularized in the 1990s by Peter Mokaba, a former youth leader of the African National Congress, which has led the country since the end of white minority rule in 1994. Mokaba, who died in 2002, argued that the call shouldn't be literally interpreted, but was a metaphor for taking a stand against apartheid. And last year, South Africa's Equality Court ruled that it didn't amount to hate speech. This is the event where economic freedom fighters sang the controversial struggle slogan. On Monday, political party Democratic Alliance said they would open a case against Julius Malema, while another party, Freedom Front Plus, said they have already opened a criminal case. But there are others who have come to Malema's defense, with various ex-users lambasting Elon Musk for condemning the singing of a struggle song. This is Kalden Ongmu from Johannesburg, South Africa, for WION, World is One.
Hey family, and welcome back to Thinking Things Tuesdays with me, Kosa Chick, or Zoliso, whatever you want to call me. And yeah, we come back today like any other week. And yeah, for today, welcome back, family, and please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share the video to whoever you think might be interested. So for today, as in any other week, we come back with our regular suspect. So as you all know, we go back to normally what's still in ongoing cases of our previous cases. So before we go on what we're doing, let's explain what this Thinking Tanks is all about. Thinking Tanks is about current affairs, news which are happening, trending, or something which might have been in our thoughts or something which we all were talking about. So Thinking Tanks is discussing current affairs according to me, also chick. So we just take whatever is whichever was trending on the news, which we think that might be interesting, and we discuss it, or we look how is it progressing and so on. So that's what we're all about in Thinking Tanks. So now, getting back to our regular topic, as you all know, we've got our regular suspects like any other week. So for this week, we go back to trying to find out how is the Zandile Gomede case progressing. We go back to Senzo Meyiwa case like any other week because it's been progressing for quite a while now. I think we are on our third week ever since a new judge has been appointed to the case or to the trial. And yeah, and then we go to the Blue Light Brigade as well. Remember, last month we had an encounter with the Blue Light Brigades on N1, so we just go and check out how is it going there. And then on the ANC Veteran League, there as well, there was something happening. We go there as well and we look at what is BRICS all about. As you all know, we're going to be having the BRICS summit soon in South Africa. And yeah, on the EF side, it was the EFF 10th year celebration. In the last few days, we've seen them doing the most in celebrating the Putsununu year, which is the 10th year. And as you all know, we've got the Banyana Banyana, which is in the Football World Cup. We've got the Netball World Cup as well taking place in Cape Town. And on the Mkhwebane side, we look what's happening in the public protection office. Maybe, as you all know, that there's has been a shortlisted candidates in the new appointing of the public protector. So that's what's happening in the in Mkhwebane's term is ending in October. So yeah, so that's what we'll look into when it comes to Mkhwebane. And then we've got the ARTO, and then we look into what is the ARTO all about, which is the AARTO. And then we also got the Niger coup. So we also looking what is the Niger coup all about. So yeah, family, welcome again as we look into our current affairs with me, Osachik, as I said it before. So like any other week, let us not waste any time. The first story which we are looking into on the Zandile Gumede matter, we realize that witnesses continue to testify. So the case with Zandile Gumede fraud case, it was shortly adjourned last week. And then this week it continues again. So witnesses continue to testify, but then within the court, there's no cameras and no cell phones in court allowed. So that's what is happening. So whatever we'll be getting from the media, we'll be getting through a written correspondence. So we won't see the faces of the witnesses and so on. So that's what's happening with the Zandile Gomede case. As we all remember last week, the case was adjourned because the most witnesses were scared of testifying or giving their testimony because of one of the witnesses' houses was shot at. So after that, I think the case was adjourned until now, that whereby the case now, they have ruled out cameras or cell phones. That's what we know. So whoever is broadcasting that story of Zandile Gumede, they will just have to write down whatever procedures are going on in the courtroom and then explain to us in camera at a later stage. So that's what we are on about with the Zandile Gumede story. And then from Zandile Gumede, we go to the Senzo Meyiwa story. On the Senzo Meyiwa story, as you all know, last week we left off whereby there were witnesses giving the testimonies in court. So with the Senzo Meyiwa, we believe that, okay, after the neighbors, I think two neighbors which gave testimony of what they saw, then there was a cell phone analyst by the name of Lambert Stein, which also gave their testimony or their evidence or whatever. So Stein told the court that his record suggested that no one of the people in the house called the police or an ambulance when the footballer was shot. So what Stein was doing was analyzing the footages which was taken from the cell phones of accused number 3 or of the one of the accused. That's what Stein comes in. So Stein was the one which was trying to say, okay, there was a cell phone records or cell phone data which were from the one of the accusers and Kelly Kumalo. But then the problem with the cell phone data analyst is that with that which connects Kelly Kumalo and one of the accused or a few of the accused cell phone data is that the datas were not record. That's the other thing. So with Aston Hayes gave suggestions that one of the accused stories, one of the accused cell phones, not really one of the accused stories to be correct though, because the cell phone was not registered on the accused name, so they can't really say that it is what the accused cell phone. But it's so confusing, people, believe you me. The phone was communicating by this accuser, but then when it comes to being recorded, the phone was not recorded in this accused's name. So you can just imagine how confusing it is. So Stan Hayes gave all it was the expert analyst in the cell phone data and so on. So was saying that according to the data information which he had in front of him, it shows that no ambulance or police was called when Senzo Meyiwa was shot. And then after Lambert Stein testify of his findings or his analysis, there was a new witness as well by the name of Sergeant Moses Mabasa. So the last time we checked on the Senzo Meyiwa case, it was investigating officer Sergeant Moses Mabasa, which was giving evidence about photographs found in the cell phone of accused number 3. So it's a cell phone analyst testifying in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial has told the High Court in Pretoria of pictures of stacks of money and high-caliber firearms and ammunition found on the device confiscated from accused number 3, which was Mtobisi Mncube. One of the pictures depicts 100 Rand and 200 Rand notes in a plastic bag, a 9mm and a rifle. Sergeant Moses Mabasa also testified about another picture of a firearm downloaded from Ncube's phone, which was captioned as "My Killing Machine." Ncube is one of the 5 accused currently on trial for the 2014 murder of the soccer star Senzo Meyiwa. So that is what since okay, it says here more information about this Senzo Meyiwa case. It says here since Judge Rata Mukhatleng took over the presiding seat in the matter, many have commended the progress of the case. Fisokuhle, together with Muzikawu Kulelwa Sibiya, Bongani Sandiso Ndanzi, and Mtobisi Prince Mncube were also proven to have had contact with each other, disputing the initial claims that they never knew each other. They all face charges of premeditated murder, attempted murder, robbery with aggravating circumstances, possession of ammunition, possession of ammunition. And then also there was a twist in the mix as well. So the twist in the mix is Senzo's SIM card was swapped a day before the fatal incident and was used in former Kaizer Chiefs footballer David Matebula's phone. So that's the other part which is still new. Now, how did Senzo's SIM card get to be swapped a day before the incident, and find out that it was used in a former Kaizer Chiefs footballer which by the name of David Matebula? Yeah, so there's a lot which is still going on in the Senzo Meyiwa case. As you can hear, there's been different witnesses. Last week it was your Kelly, it was your Zandi Kumalo, it was your neighbors which were called into the stand. Now it's your experts. We've got the first experts, which was your Stain, and then we've got another expert now, which is your what's the person, which is your Sergeant Moses Mabasa. Yes, when what's the person's name now again, when Stein was giving his evidence and so on, it kind of felt like he was being squeezed into a corner. He was being squeezed into a corner. So now now it's Sergeant Moses Mabasa's turn, which according to Stein, he was the one which will be able to give more evidence or more broader understanding of the whole, how they got to have the information or the proof of how did the contact between Kelly Kumalo and one of the accused occurred. So we'll see how that happened, ladies and gentlemen, as the time goes on. So some people feel like this case is boring and it doesn't really provide any progress or way forward. But then to people which have been waiting for justice for all of these years, I think now there's been a lot which is happening with the case, and the family or people which want to know what really happened to Senzo, they can feel a sense of hope, saying that at least now something is happening. And yeah, maybe they might find out who killed Senzo. As much as, yes, they can't bring Senzo back, but then the fact remains is at least they will find out the truth and they'll have closure. And then I think we are done with the Senzo Meyiwa case. The Blue Light Brigade, oh gosh. Oh, I'm sorry, people, because I feel like I'm falling asleep, but believe you me, I've got a toothache as I'm sitting here. My tooth is doing the most. So we go to the Blue Light Brigade now. And on the Blue Light Brigade, we all know that the accused were each given a 10,000 rand bail from the Randburg Magistrate Court, and they will appear on in court for further investigations on the 27th of September now. And then one of the rules with the bail application is they shouldn't contact state witnesses. They shouldn't contact any state witnesses. That's what they were told when it comes to one of the conditions when it comes to the bail application. So the Blue Light Brigade were all given 10,000 rand each bail, and then they'll all appear again in court on the 27th of September. And then we move from the Blue Light, and then on the ANC Veteran League, we know that the ANC Veteran League had a conference, and then Snoozi Galala was elected as the president unopposed. And then obviously there were high moments and happy moments, how the Veteran League, gosh, is still the one which shows others how to do conferences right, because the Veteran League did everything right. There was no delays in the conference and everything went smooth. And from the ANC Veteran Conference, we go to BRICS. And with the BRICS stories, South Africa is to host the BRICS summit this month, which is August. And we all know that Putin is not attending, which is like good news, because apparently Putin was going to attend the BRICS summit in South Africa. We would have to arrest him and so on and so forth. But now that he's not coming to South Africa, which is good. So the BRICS summit will be held now in August. I think on from the 22nd of August, that's when the BRICS summit will be held. And at the present moment, there's the Russian Africa Summit, which is underway, and yeah. Oh, on the next subject, we have the EFF. Let's see if I'm getting this right. On the next subject, we've got the EFF 10th year celebrating. So EFF celebrated its 10th anniversary in a theatrical extravaganza from slaughtering cows to gala dinners and commemoration of Marikana incident. So we saw this weekend Julius's moment in spotlight, where he was standing on the high rise, the stage going up, and him doing his thing. So yeah, EFF had a theatrical extravaganza 10th year anniversary, and they did everything in style. There was no there was no expenses left, so they went all out to make sure that the 10th year anniversary was the talk of town. And yeah, and then on the same breath as the EFF was celebrating the 10th year anniversary, the DA leader John Steenhuisen has repeatedly labeled the EFF as an enemy number one as part of his 2024 election campaign. And he also announced plans to take the EFF to task over chanting of kill the Boer and the EFF at the EFF's 10th anniversary. So apparently EFF went overboard when they were celebrating in the 10th year anniversary, and they chanted the slogan "Kill the Boer, kill the puff." Kill the Boer, kill the farmer, and then DA is not happy about that and is instigating that they are going to lay charges with the United Nations Human Rights Council or something on those lines of what EFF was singing. So the charges will be against the ANC and the EFF. So as much as the EFF was having fun celebrating their 10th year anniversary, they were also creating controversy. So that's where we are with the EFF and the DA and so on and so forth. Oh gosh, I sound so sleepy, but I'm not sleeping. I just took some tablets. People, I'm going through the most. And now Mkhwebane. We go to Mkhwebane. As you all know, Mkhwebane's term in office is ending now in October. So there's been public protector nominees which have been shortlisted. So 8 candidates were shortlisted, and suspended public protector's term is ending in October, and the acting public protector, which is Advocate Koleka Gcaleka, makes the cut for to be one of the public protector nominees. So Koleka Gcaleka is nominated as well to be the public protector. So according to me, I kind of feel like this is given. I'm sorry to say this, that the new appointed public protector is going to be Advocate Koleka Gcaleka, because I believe so. I wouldn't want to make speculations and allegations, but for me, I think our next public protector is going to be Advocate Koleka Gcaleka, because we all know where her loyalty lies and so on when it came to the Phala saga. And for the fact that I know that when the court didn't find Thuli why am I on Thuli Madonsela now? Mkhwebana, when the court didn't find Mkhwebana guilty, she was supposed to give way and let Mkhwebana go back into office, but she didn't let her go back into office. She was the one which was running the office, because now there was the inquiry commission, which was the chairperson was Yanki, which was going on. As much as at some point Mkhwebana won the court verdict, but then she still had to go in front of the committee. And then that's when Advocate Koleka decided that if you still have to clear your name in the section 194 committee, which is chaired by Richard Yankee. So I might as well hold on to the office until everything is clear in your name. So yeah, when it comes to the short list of the 8 candidates who will become our next public protector, I strongly believe that Advocate Koleka Gcaleka is the next one. She really showed her loyalty and also her ruling when it came to the Phala matter, because we know under her there was nothing wrong with the president did when it comes to the Phala matter. And yes, the president didn't benefit more than he's supposed to with the Phala incident. So the Phala incident, according to the acting public protector, doesn't question our current president's loyalty, whether he's doing a business as for himself or he's running the country as a president, because you can't really have a business person running a country, because with the business people, it's business first and then take care of others in the last part, in the last food chain. Anyway, Phala Phala saga, next public protector saga done. And then our next story is the AART, or the AART. Did we do the Zandi Comedy broadcast? Did we do the Below Light Brigade? Yes, we did. Okay, conference. Okay, where is the? Okay, it says the ARTO, or the AARTO Act. That's the Constitutional Court has refused to declare the Administrative Adjudication of Road Traffic Offences Act and its Amendment Act unconstitutional. So when this ARTO Act was introduced, it was supposed to change the way it was supposed to change the way of the way people drive in South African road, because with this ARTO it means that if you drive bad and then you keep on getting caught and your marks getting deducted from your license, eventually you'll be left without a license until you have to go find a license again. And I think most road users or motorists are not happy with that. But then it's still going forward though, because other people feel like this is just gonna be like the same case as your e-toll, where people are not paying for the service as much as the service is there, because they just don't understand how the service works for them. So with this, we're still waiting to see, and I think it's going to be rolled out by the by the Department of Road, and so on, in end of the year. So that's when you will see if it really works or not at the end of the month, at the end of the year. Sorry, at the end of the year, when it's been rolled out nationwide. For now, it's still in, I think, in your Gauteng provinces and so on, and I don't think it's really that serious or it matters that much. So that's our story with the ARTO Act. And our next story is, let's see, Niger coup. So when we're going up into Africa, in Africa, there's a story about Niger coup. Niger coup apparently is a French colony. So it says, growing crisis in Niger. The country's democratically elected president, Mohamed Bazoum, was overthrown last week by his own president guard. One of the coup's leader, Brigadier General Moussa Salo Bano, was trained by the U.S., making the Nigerian coup 11th in West Africa since 2008 to involve U.S.-trained military officers. The U.S. has approximately 1,000 troops in Niger, where it also spent $100 million building a drone base in its ongoing war on terror. The Biden administration has so far refused to describe last week's event as a coup, because doing so would force Washington to cut security aid to Niger. The reason for the coup are still unclear. So that's where we are with the coup in Niger. And we all know Niger was a French colony. And coup with Niger has all been an ongoing thing ever since 1974. That I think 1974 was their first coup, and then it keeps on going and going until now. So that's one of the stories which are developing in Africa. In the meantime, is the coup in Niger. And from the coup in Niger, we've got the Banyana Banyana today, which is Wednesday. I know this is Thinking Thanks Tuesday, but anyway, Banyana Banyana won 3-2 with Italy, and they will proceed through to round 16. So 16 round 16 is like the last part whereby now you are in the game. So after here we're going to go to the semi finals and so on. Hopefully Banyana Banyana will still be holding on. We were starting to get worried because Banyana Banyana haven't really won a fair and square. It was been drawing. They've drawn against the teams which they played previously, and I think the other game they were leading. They were the first goal scorers, so they were leading. So today we've got our clean win. And on the Netball World Cup, we are still in Cape Town. And tonight, South Africa is playing with New Zealand, which is promising to be a tough match anyway. So we are keeping our fingers crossed for South Africa to beat New Zealand when it comes to the Netball World Cup. But it was a good day when it comes to the Banyana football or soccer World Cup, because we won. And then with the netball, we are playing, I think tonight, if I'm not mistaken, with New Zealand. And that's all we have for today, family. Please don't forget to subscribe, to comment, to share the video with your friends or anybody which you think might like it. So as you all know, as I said, we're discussing current affairs in this channel.